That's it? Yeah. Thank you very much. So I need to begin the slides here. So this will work? What do I do? Oh, just by advancing it? Sorry for the delay. We had to set up the PowerPoint. Thank you very much, Donna. Madam Chair, I guess to be appropriate. Sorry, I misspoke there. Removing fences. There is a saying, before you remove a fence, find out why it is there. This makes sense and is applicable to a transgender and gender nonconforming policy, which, if we are not very clear, will remove an existing fence which has been in place for who knows how long. Before we remove an existing fence, let's look at why it is there. Probably the most important place to look, in this case, from a legal and human rights perspective, is in the Ontario Human Rights Code, which is the law. Section 20 of the Ontario Human Rights Code is a section of the code which defines exemptions to various human rights because, as the Ontario Human Rights Commission policy computing human rights states, the courts recognize that no rights are absolute and no right is more important than another right. The law recognizes that laws have limits in some situations where they substantially interfere with the rights of others. The right of a male who self-identifies as female to access and use a public, intimate female facility such as a washroom, change room, or shower is not more important than the right and need of females to be accommodated with these male-exclusive intimate facilities where they can be in various states of disrobing, showering, or carrying out various needs of feminine hygiene without the presence or pending presence of a male. Actually, the right of a male to do so in Ontario does not exist. So this portion of policy now understood, let's look at the relative exemption of the Ontario Human Rights Code, which is the law. Guidelines with respect to facilities by sex. 21. The right under Section 1 to equal treatment with respect to services and facilities without discrimination because of sex is not infringed, where the use of services or facilities is restricted to persons of the same sex on the ground of public decency. Restricting facilities to persons of the same sex is not an infringement of a human right, provided it is on the ground of public decency. This, of course, includes intimate facilities. Females require male-exclusive washrooms, change rooms, and showers where they can feel secure. This is the ground of public decency because invasion of female intimate privacy can be traumatic in various ways. But what about Toby's Law, Bill 33? This Ontario bill did add to the Ontario Human Rights Code gender expression, gender identity, where discrimination is not permitted, as it applies to public facilities such as schools, libraries, parks, etc. However, it did not change the code under exemptions where discrimination is allowed. Specifically, Section 20, subsection 1, outlined earlier. Thus, restricting males from accessing public intimate female facilities is a offense that's not intended to be removed, according to the Ontario Human Rights Code. This fence exists to protect public decency. Is there a need in Ontario for males who identify as transgender or gender nonconforming to access public intimate female facilities? No. The current Ontario Building Code requires new public buildings and renovations of existing public buildings to include 3 types of facilities: female, male, and universal or single cell. All persons, regardless of their gender feelings, have the equal right to 2 facility choices: the facility matching the biological gender or the university facility. Allowing some to use a facility opposite to the biological gender is a special right and interferes substantially with the needs and rights of females and males. Should this policy be challenged in the courts, the City of Hamilton must realize that no court has ever ruled that having a third facility is not reasonable accommodation. And no court has ever ruled that full access to opposite-sex intimate facilities is required to satisfy the duty to accommodate.
1 minute, Mr. Enos.
No problem. Thank you very much. A policy which allows individuals the freedom to self-declare their gender and access any intimate facility they choose empowers individuals to self-govern and invade the intimate privacy of others while handcuffing the ability of staff and or police to protect the intimate privacy of citizens who are currently protected under Section 20, subsection 1. We are concerned that our supporters of public decency receive emails from City of Hamilton councillors stating that they agree wholeheartedly with our position on the draft policy, but they feel they are compelled to support it. What kind of society have we become when our representatives feel forced to support policy which is against their moral conscience? We urge the City of Hamilton to adhere to Section 20, subsection 1 of the Ontario Human Rights Code, the law. Do not remove the fence which ensures public decency for females and males in public intimate facilities. I close.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Enos. If we have any more response such as that from the gallery, you will be removed. We are going to go through today's proceedings with the utmost respect for all delegates. Any further outbursts and people will be removed from the gallery. Councillor Johnson.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, for the opportunity to ask some questions. Good morning, Mr. Enos.
Good morning.
Councillor Johnson.
Councillor Johnson. So I didn't recognize you. I've never met you before, sir.
Before I turn to my questions for Mr. Enos, and I have 3, Madam Chair, please allow me to recognize that Hamilton City Hall is on the traditional lands of diverse First Nations, particularly including the Mississauga of the New Credit and the Haudenosaunee, and including in a key way those First Nations Two-Spirit people. Madam Chair, we are honored to have at committee today delegations from the Two-Spirit people of the First Nations. We are also honored to have delegations representing our diverse regional transgender and non-binary communities. To all of those delegations, thank you for coming. Also with us today, we have a large number of cisgender, that is, non-transgender allies. Before I turn to my questions, please let me clarify, I will be voting for the protocol. It is not 100% perfect, but it is an important stepping stone toward true justice in our city. As I reflect on the protocol and my own vote, I remember that this coming Wednesday, the council meeting where we will be voting and discussing the protocol in final form is United Nations International Women's Day. I've been thinking a lot about the theme of International Women's Day 2017. The theme is Be Bold for Change. I'm going to preview my 3 questions, and they are as follows. 1, these are for Mr. Enos, and I'll get to them in turn. First question, why should the city reject a protocol that helps us build our economy? Second question, very basically, do transgender people exist? Third question, does the city not have a moral duty to not stigmatize? I'll get to my questions one at a time. So the first question is inspired by the large amount of economic evidence that we now have, empirical evidence, to the effect that cities with thriving LGBTQ2S communities are more prosperous. Economists have offered a variety of explanations as to why it is that cities with thriving LGBTQ2S communities are more prosperous. And there are a couple of explanations that have been offered. The primary explanation